My most known build, my Ant-Man Edwards build with nearly 1 million views on TikTok. The build is insane. It is a 3D wing that can do it all. It's elite at everything, and the craziest thing about it, it gets legend badges in 5 out of the 6 categories very easily. Now, we perfected that build and many others. I'm going to show you guys 5 perfected builds that were just outside of my top 10 best builds I made all throughout this year. In the background is going to be a Pro-Am game against a really good team, and the Pro-Am game will pick up exactly where it left off from last video. So you guys didn't see our build rankings of builds 20 to 16. Make sure you guys go check that one out. You guys want to see the first part of this gameplay. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to ranking the builds. And at build number 15, I have Thor. Thor is our 6'8" power forward with a minimum weight. So, the minimum weight allows it to go up to 89 speed and 89 agility, and then you pair that with a 93 block and the 94 steal. You're going to be getting Legend Paint Patroller, Legend High Flying Denier, Legend Interceptor and stuff when you use your badge perks wisely. And that's going to give you a whole lot of stats because you're going to be covering so much ground when it comes to getting chased down and playing lanes. You're going to be able to go crazy on this build. Now, the problem in my opinion with this build is that you go minimum weight, so you only get like 85 defensive rebounding, right? That 85 defensive rebounding isn't that great, but it is doable. The most important thing isn't the rating, because 85 is a tad bit low. It's actually the fact you get gold box out beats at 85. And since you're 6'8", that's a tier 2 badge, so it's very easy to +2 to legend. And that's what we want to do on this build. You want to use your elite speed and agility to get in a position and secure a box out. And hopefully your center can secure the rebound. Now, because of that, you are kind of team dependent, if that makes sense. You got to make sure you got a center that got a rebound. Some centers be out here with 70 defensive rebounding. Now, none of y'all are snagging rebounds and stuff like that. So you do need to have a good team around you, especially at the big man spot. But other than that, you can do a lot of things on this build. It can ISO, it can defend 1 through 5, it can score all 3 levels, it can dunk. It's an all-around fire build. But I'm going to show you guys the ISO lock version. So you guys want to make this a lockdown. You got to be very careful with how you guys use the cap breakers. So, on this example, I'm going to show you guys, I kept the defensive cap breakers. And this is very tough to do, but you got to know what you're doing. We had to sacrifice the defensive rebounding, but you want to spend 5 cap breakers on your agility, and then the other 20 cap breakers on all 5 of those defensive ratings, so you can get the 93 block for the gold paint patroller. The interior defense needs to go up to 77, 92 perimeter, and 94 steal. Those are great ratings for a lockdown. Now, you want those ratings to go even higher. Let's say you want 96 steal. You want 96 perimeter defense. You have to do one or two things. You're going to have to sacrifice the 93 block and then start lowering that down to like 88 or 84. But honestly, you want 84 block. You should probably make another lockdown build. I'm going to show you guys later in this video. Or you can switch the cap breaker combination. You guys could go with the dunk and block cap breaker combo. Boom is a member of our Discord that made a very fire ISO lock. So you guys want to look at his, for example, join the Discord. The link will be in the description down below. Ask for Boom, and then Boom will hook you up with the lockdown with the dunk and block cap breakers. Now, that was Thor. Spectacular build, 98 out of 100. Now we're going to build number 14, and that is going to be Shao Kahn, our perfected post scorer. Another big man, and this build is sensational because I combine Hakeem Olajuwon and Jokic into one. So it gets the playmaking and shooting of Jokic while getting the finishing and the defense of Hakeem. Now, this is one of the toughest builds I made because getting all those things to stay the same was super duper tough. And what we did to make sure we got those was we lowered the rebounding. Now, rebounding is a super important thing that you really don't want to lower on a big man, right? You kind of want to be on 99, whatever the case may be, right? So originally I knocked this build a whole lot more, but then I got to thinking, well, there's things you can do to circumvent the low rebounding, right? You should go to that 96 offensive rebounding. That will give you Hall of Fame rebound chaser and Hall of Fame box out beast. So then all you got to do is +1 those to get those up to legend. But what you can also do is put rebounding in your takeover and buy rebounding boost. Because besides the rebounding, everything else on this build is phenomenal. You're able to even get 91 strength, so that way you can get the gold brick wall that you can +2 to legend. And I talked about the importance of having that badge. Because the lockdowns that you are screening will have legend pick dodger, right? So you want to make sure your brick wall is at least equal, if not greater than their pick dodger. So that's why you want that legend brick wall, especially since you're setting dozens upon dozens every single game. But the best thing about Shao Kahn, in my opinion, is actually the wingspan. It's that perfect wingspan where when you go maximum wingspan, of course your shooting is a little bit lower, but you're also restricted on the jumpers you can get and you miss out on a few badges. That Shao Kahn wingspan isn't minimum wingspan, so you're not out there with the T-Rex arms, but it's that medium wingspan. So you are able to get badges like Bronze Limitless and Silver Deadeye and better jump shot bases like Michael Porter Jr. and Chris Bosh. You guys want to use those. So it's a perfect middle ground. So it finds itself right in the middle of our rankings. But what I did for this alternative version is I actually lowered the close shot and raised the playmaking even more, so you're able to get more dribble moves and stuff like that. And personally, I don't mind lowering the close shot because I'm not really gonna do post hooks and stuff. I do post fades. So I had to make this build. I thought about showing you guys a version with the finishing cap breakers, but the defensive cap breakers are just better in my opinion. And I also thought about showing you guys a version with higher post scoring, but then you got to sacrifice some other stuff on the build. I just don't think it's really worth it to give up that 93 block. I think that is definitely an elite feature to have on this build. Now we're going over to build number 13. Build number 13 is going to be our Ares build. Ares is our perfected Grinch build. It's our pure lockdown defender at the height 6'7". Now this build I think might be the best lockdown I made when it comes to you don't know what the other team is bringing out, right? You don't know the other team's bringing out a PG that's going to run PNR or they're going to run 5 out. 6'7" is an elite height because you're able to get 91 speed, 91 agility. With the speedster takeover, you're activated. You get 99 speed, 99 agility, so you're keeping up with any PG. It doesn't matter what their speed with ball rating is. Doesn't matter what their lightning launch rating is. You're keeping up with them because that 99 speed and 99 agility is going to pair very nicely with the 99 perimeter that you can get. This is the tallest height that can get 99 perimeter, and it also gets silver paint patroller, which is something the 6'6" height does not get. So with that silver paint patroller, you could +1 or +2 it to gold or Hall of Fame very easily. That's a tier 2 badge. And now, if you go against somebody that likes to 5 out, ISO, rim run, whatever the case may be, you're able to protect the paint yourself better than a 6'6" build can, and you don't have to call a rotation every time they try to drive by you. Now, our original Grinch build didn't have any rebounding like that, and that was a major mistake, and also didn't have the mid-range that this perfected Ares version has. So the mid-range going up to 89 gives you gold set shot specialist. You also maintain that 83 three ball for the bronze limitless, and now when you +2 your set shot to go from gold to legend, you're going to be a knockdown shooter, and especially when you're a lockdown defender, you're going to get a lot of two-way opportunities, right? Let's say you get a steal, now you got your two-way activated. You can go down, stop and pop, hit threes consistently, because really your three ball is going to be a 99 when you get that two-way activated. Pair it with the legend set shot specialist, you can get really, really wicked, get some great clips that way, going coast to coast, throwing self-lobs, whatever. The only problem on the build is that I really can't dribble. In the 5v5 setting, that's okay, especially when we got that 70 offensive rebounding. And O-board was a thing we overlooked on this height because whenever you go for some cap breaker combinations, O-board is actually cheaper than free throw. I will talk about that more in Cap Breakers Part 4. And Cap Breakers Part 4 will probably drop the first week of NBA 2K27. The reason why is I think a lot of the stuff that we learned from this year will carry over to next year. So I was going to show you guys a video of everything I learned from this year, right? But since that's going to carry over, I'm actually going to withhold that information and then probably drop it the first week and see everything that did carry over and stuff. So I should have that video ready. And we have everything that we need to know to look for and fine tune and stuff like that. Because I promise you, there are so many things that we overlooked. I want to try to get that video out as soon as possible. So we'll be ready for the most part. And then I'm just going to update it when 2K27 does drop. And when 2K27 does drop, you guys want to make sure you're subscribed here. I promise you, we'll be the first people to master the builder and perfect builds. So you want to get this perfection series popping earlier. We don't want to be doing this series in June, July, stuff like that. We want to do all this stuff hopefully by December, January. So that'd be a couple seasons to make sure we know what the meta is after they do updates and stuff like that. And then we're perfecting builds right on. But here's an alternative version with 85 strength. And I remember when everybody had the whole debate when the game first came out. Strength is worthless, this and the third. I'm like, strength isn't worthless. But in my opinion, I prefer the other Ares builds with minimum weight. Because when you go that 85 strength route, you gain 14 strength. But you're sacrificing 1 speed and 5 agility. That's a total of 6 speed and agility. I just don't think it's worth that sacrifice. Now, the only problem with the original Ares build, in my opinion, is the playmaking. Now, you might be able to lower the mid-range to get the playmaking up, but then, the shooting kind of take the hit because then you don't have that gold set shot specialist to be a true knockdown shooter, and you miss out on some really good bases. Lockdown, again, the Ray Allen base is actually insane to even think about, right, to become a 3-level scorer. So it's kind of like the trade-off. Do you want the mid-range shooting, or do you want the higher ball handle so you can dribble and create your own shot more? The problem, in my opinion, is when you go with the shooting, you're dependent upon your PG, and that's the only knock on this build. You don't have a PG that's passing you the ball well or anything like that, but you have a PG that's really good and you trust in your offense. You guys could definitely go this route right here because you just want how to create for others, but others will create for you. Overall, I'm giving this build a spectacular score out of 99 out of 100. And I thought this is one of the most interesting builds you guys voted on because there's like a love-hate relationship on the build. A lot of people thought it was ranked number 1. A lot of people thought it was the worst build I made for the Immortal Week. In my opinion, it's somewhere right in the middle. I think it's a really great build, but I do see why you guys prefer some other ones. Now, at spot number 12, we have Hades, which is our perfected Ant-Man Edwards build. And this was the most skillfully crafted build of the entire series, in my opinion, because the Ant-Man build is known for what? Legend badges in 5 out of 6 categories. I made it so the build gets legend badges out of 5 out of 6 categories with 0 cap breakers. And you guys go look at Hades, and you guys look at the attributes, you plug it all in, it gets 87 perimeter defense, that's Hall of Fame off-ball pass, plus 1 that. It gets 82 pass accuracy, that's gold dimer, plus 2 that. It gets 90 drive dunk to start, that's Hall of Fame aerial wizard, plus 1 that. And then of course you still get the 93 ball that goes all the way up to 95, that gives you deep bomb takeover and gold set shot specialist, plus 2 your set shot. And then you start off with 85 vertical, which is what you need for the Hall of Fame posterizer. That gives you Hall of Fame pogo stick as well, plus 1 that. All 5 categories, 0 cap breakers, by the way. You just need the badge perks. And you get those by joining a crew, leveling up your season pass, and by completing your build specialization. Now, when it comes to Hades, he has a problem of being a middle child. The height 6'5" is a great height for cap breakers and the number of attribute points you get. But the problem with being 6'5" is you can't get the Paint Patroller badge. That's the advantage that the 6'6" build has. So you guys want to make a lockdown version of Ant-Man or Hades, look into the Cheetah build I showed in the last video. Or if you go 6'4", you get better animations and stuff like that, and you also get more attribute points. So 6'5" is a very tricky situation to be in. But when you go with this exact wingspan, you do get the unique combination of 96 drive dunk and 95 3 ball. So I don't think there's another height that I've seen that can get that unique combination of the elite contact dunks into the 95 3 ball rating. And if you want to, you can put those in your takeover. So as you start heating up, you got double 99s in those categories. Now we're going to interrupt that footage to show you guys some Hades clips. These clips were submitted to me by Winner King in the Discord. If you guys made any of my perfected builds and got some clips to showcase, send them to me, and when I review that build in the video, I will showcase the clips. Now, as you guys can see in the clip, Hades is a two-way superstar. He's able to make plays on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And the alternate version I will show you guys is a Hades with higher pass accuracy. Somebody in the Discord said they wanted that version. But truthfully speaking, I think you guys should make a Kratos build. If you guys want pass accuracy this high, go ahead and go down to 6'4". And if you keep the perimeter still and dunk cap breakers, that's a Robin build. But you go with the playmaking cap breakers at 6'4", which I would recommend you guys do. That is a Kratos build. And Kratos has not been ranked yet. We will end up ranking Kratos, and we will end up completing the series within the next week. So, that is build number 12. We got one more build this video, though. And that next build is Sub-Zero, just outside the top 10 at spot number 11. Now, when it came to the height 6'7", I wasn't impressed with the playmaking cap breakers, and the reason why? Because there's 2 sets of playmaking cap breakers. So you gotta make sure you get the super glitchy ones that are called Paint Beast. You don't want to get the 2-way big ones. They're not nearly as glitchy. But you get those Paint Beast cap breakers on the 6'7". You can really turn this build into a 2-way demon. It's a walking bucket, elite defense, elite scoring at all 3 levels, can create its own shot. And I do not recommend running point on the 6'7" build. And the reason why is, I talked about it earlier, if you're using the badge a lot, you want it on Legend. Lightning Launch, when you're running PG, is a badge you want on Legend because the lockdown will have 91 agility, stuff like that. You want to make sure you're able to zoom by them a little bit, create enough space to crab them, get your shot off, wherever the case may be. You can't get Legend Lightning Launch on the height 6'7". The tallest you can be to get that is the height 6'6". But 6'7" is in a tough spot, just like the 6'5" height. It's the middle child, because I really think you should kind of go up to a 6'8" if you're making this build. So I think I forgot to say it for Hades, but Hades is a 99 out of 100. Sub-Zero is also a 99 out of 100. Not because they're not incredible builds or anything, but the height that is adjacent to it is far superior. So in the case of Hades, I would say make a 6'4" for the most part. In the case of Sub-Zero, I'd say make a 6'8" for the most part. Now, here's the point guard version of Sub-Zero. Once again, shout out to 2K Jasper. He's another content creator that makes fire builds. He's the one that showed me the 6'7" playmaking cat breakers and how glitchy those were. So, that kind of led to me making Sub-Zero, because originally on my Sub-Zero, I was going the dunk and block cat breakers, which aren't bad by any means, but I think the playmaking ones for a shooting guard or point guard variation are a tad bit better. Now, I hope that you are as excited as I am for the top 10 builds, because the top 10 builds will go crazy, and the gameplay footage I have for the top 10 builds will be us playing the number one team in the world. So I hope you guys are ready for that one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. God bless.